Welcome back on this Sunday morning. 3 Democrats who would like to be the next mayor of Knox County. And Mr. Gibbons, you spoke about some specifics in your answer in the previous conversation. Let's stick with that. What is the one thing that you would like to accomplish in the next 4 years if you happen to be elected mayor of Knox County?
Thank you. What a great question. I think we need to change the priority of our development stimulant funds, of our tax incentives and the programs that we use to encourage developers to build in our county. I think we've had a philosophy of giving tax breaks to anyone who will build anything, whether that's luxury apartments next to a baseball stadium or a McMansion subdivision that doesn't have a big enough road to serve it. And we need to be a lot more responsible in the way we use those development funds. And I would like to see any project that receives taxpayer funds have a guaranteed, either a guaranteed living wage for its employees or guaranteed low-income units if it happens to be a residential building. I would just like to see a lot more focus of our development efforts on that missing middle, the starter homes, the small apartments that working class folks can afford, because we need to let folks live near where they work if we want to have a good, healthy economy here.
Your top issue, Ms. Helsley, if you're elected mayor?
The top issue, I think we, just as Democrats in general, have to really put strengthening public schools at the very top of what we do. The state seems to have their own plans on TISA, and that's kind of, the details are a bit gray. It's like, trust us and vote on it and we'll do it later. So I think public schools and keeping our teachers here and paying them a living wage is critical, because public education is, as far as I'm concerned, the great equalizer.
Mr. Fischer, how about you?
We got to get the budget order. The job of county mayor hasn't been done in 25 years. Our sheriff's deputies and teachers' salaries are a disgrace, and it took us 25 years to get them there. Somebody's got to stand up and just say, this is wrong. This is what they should be. This is what they are. Here's the difference. Let's work this out. It hasn't been done. This is just, the job of mayor hasn't been done in 25 years, and somebody has to stand up and do it. That's not afraid to do it. I'm not going to get elected. I won't get reelected. But I will stand up to these people, and I'll make sure our teachers and sheriff's deputies are at least treated as professionals by the mayor's office. Even if I can't get them the raises they've earned and deserve, I will make sure the public knows.
Candidates, let me follow up with that. That's a nice segue. So doing things like paying employees more money would requires money. So I want to know what you think about the idea of a tax increase. That's a phrase that usually sends politicians scurrying in Knox County. They don't like to hear that phrase. But I'm wondering, if one of you were to win, what you would do about that. If you needed to do a tax increase to fund things like better salaries, would you do it, or do you think you can just manage it by maybe cutting costs right now? And Mr. Fischer, let's start with you.
Well, it's not the mayor's job to tax. It's county commission's job to tax. It's my job to bring a fair and equitable budget to the table and present it to the citizens of this county. Not doing that is what got us in this shape. Nobody in their right mind thinks that professional salary, take home after insurance and retirement, of $9.85 an hour for sheriff's deputies is fair and equitable. It's not. These guys are risking their lives. As to how that's going to be paid for, these are today operational things. If commission decides they want a tax increase, that is their prerogative, and that is their power, not the mayor's. Likewise, if they want to hatchet the rest of the budget down, that's their power. That's why we have the process in the charter that we have.
Mr. Gibbons?
Thank you. So The first thing we need to do before we talk about raising taxes is look at our existing budget. I like to point out that our general fund has grown by about 10% in the past 4 years, where our budget for public health and welfare has grown by 0%. So I think that, and this is during a pandemic, when we've had a lot of need for those services at the CAC and various other agencies at the county level and partnerships with the city. So I think the first thing we do is look at where our increases have gone and where they should have gone. And then if we've gone through the budget and we figured out where we can shift our priorities and get more pay to teachers and more pay to deputies, or address those priorities, then if we still do not have the funds to pay our teachers an adequate wage to retain good teachers and make sure that we have good schools, then I think we have to have a conversation as a community about what's important to us, get a lot of folks involved, and then if raising taxes is the solution, I will support that.
Thank you, sir. And Ms. Helsley, what are your thoughts?
I think probably nobody likes paying taxes. I mean, it is what it is. I think if you have to, I guess, if the community agrees to do that, and there's things in the budget, whether it's teacher pay or whatever that requires that, then I think it would be crazy to do a read my lips, no new taxes. At the same time, I think it should be a last resort. I think there's always a waste in every budget, including my personal budget. So I think you just need to look and see where the waste is. And there's also a lot of grant funding that I think we don't take advantage of here in Knox County from the federal government. There's CAC is a good example. I mean, they get I'm not going to quote, but millions of dollars a year in grants. So I just think it needs to be looked at, and it should be a last resort.
We only have about 90 seconds left, and I just want to hit quickly on an issue that we could spend the next hour talking about, and that is growth. Knox County is about to see huge growth. People are moving here in droves from out of state and from in-state. Ms. Helsley, let's stick with you. Would you favor, as mayor, a denser Knox County where more homes could be built on smaller plots of land, or do you think that's a bad idea to accommodate more people moving here?
I think that is a possibility. I think you need to use the infrastructure, the bipartisan infrastructure bill that was passed at the federal level. You're going to have to handle the road issue. But yes, I think density, I think you have to utilize density while you still have it, whether it's through single family dwellings or some of the affordable housing like the city has, and it works well.
Mr. Givens, your take?
Great.
I would like to see a lot more medium density apartment development being supported by city development funds. That's the missing middle that we need. Smaller plot single family homes is not the answer. We should keep the character of our county as a county. We should densify along our corridors. If that requires changing some of the zoning to allow mixed use commercial and residential buildings or low income buildings, we should do that. But we should create dense housing along our corridors and preserve the nature of our rural community.
Mr. Fischer, your take on housing and density.
I'm going to give you a short answer since we're about out of time. I don't see that we're going to have much choice. We're going to have to utilize density in housing if we're going to maintain growth.
Fair enough. Candidates, we really appreciate your time. Best of luck to all of you, and we'll be in touch down the trail. Again, the Knox County mayor who's in the seat now, who they would like to unseat, is with us next.